Click on objects to interact with them. Okay, so this is The Last Winter Night, a gothic mystery visual novel. The dev reached out to me around the time of VTuber SummerSlam, so thank you to them for being patient with me getting back to them. And it just, I don't know, I like the art style. It seemed nice, so I decided we should have a peek at it. Has your journey been long? Click on the highlighted words. Journey. But at last you're here where you belong. Space or enter to advance text. It's good to see you again. Okay. Haha. Keyboard and mouse. Okay. I like turning up the text speed a little bit in these kinds of games. You got some options in case you want to like replay it, so there's less dead air for you. Like replaying things essentially. Let me know if the audio's too loud, too quiet. Seems good to me. Alright, let's start this game. Ooh, we can save any time. Lost soul. Wandering through mist and snow. Do you feel the touch of iron cold? This is us, by the way. Aisha. Ooh, you got a little cape. Yeah, good for turkeys. Before you awoke, there was nothing. No warmth or light, no touch nor sense, no sound nor sight. No dreams, no fears, no memories. Only a dark as vast and boundless as the sunless sea. You were one soul adrift among the dead that came before you, a droplet in the ocean. But now, you're unsure when you come to consciousness, when the pieces of yourself coalesce and form you again. When darkness became dimness, when silence became the barest rustle of sound. Wind. You're here again in the world of the living. As if you never left. As if when you closed your eyes for the final time, you were only dreaming. You try and recall what a dream is, what it means to wake from sleep. When you were alive and sleep was a different being altogether from death. Feel. Moments pass. You remain still for some time, letting the sensations of the world around you flood your consciousness. Grounding yourself in the flow of time itself. Time. You once felt its passage with painful clarity. The world of the living is a finite and fragile one, fleeting as frost beneath the morning sun. But now you have the luxury of waiting. Something falls gently around you. Snow. You form the word in your mind, feel its shape with your consciousness. Soft, white, cold. You shiver out of instinct. Something metallic clangs and rattles as you do. But the bite of cold never comes. Listen. The roar of the wind, the creaking of iron, the song of a place abandoned by time. If solitude had a sound, Would this be its melody? Look. Look at me. Finally, you decide to examine your surroundings, or rather, your encasings. Oh, look. He's in an armor. Teehee. You try to move your fingers and something metallic clicks in response. A steel gauntlet follows your command, clinking softly as you twist and turn. Welcome in, Ma. But this gauntlet and vambrace are hollow. No flesh is encased beneath them, not even bone. Yet, as you bend your arm, quote unquote, the counter, I haven't seen that word in a long time. I forget how to pronounce it. And pauldron move to your command. The rings of an iron hauberk clatter against the empty cuirass of your torso. You know that once, long before the currents of the sunless sea took all memory from you, you had flesh. You lived and breathed. Lived and breathed and fought and killed until you died yourself. See. Gingerly, you reach for your visor and crack it open, then closed until your vision settles into focus. What you see is yourself, your reflection rather, in a broken mirror on an old stone wall. An empty helm stares back at you. As you shift and turn, your cuirass and pauldrons shift along with you, clanging in the dimness. Did this armor belong to me? Cold steel, hollow plates. You wouldn't think to call armor comforting, but this is. It's familiar. It's safe and protective, enveloping you like a father's arms, and it responds to you like it's yours. You look down at your gauntlet and imagine gripping the hilt of a sword. You've worn armor just like this, once upon a time. Perhaps this suit was indeed among them. But beyond these sensations, no memories come to you. Not yet. Perhaps in time you'll know what drew your spirit not only to your armor, but to this place as well. For now, you turn to the rest of your surroundings. Objects will not yield all their secrets upon a single look. Try examining them more than once to reveal more insights. We got a codex. Brief summary of your discoveries can be found in that codex. When you have found everything you can interact with in a room, the frost around the edges of the screen will disappear. Oh, thank you. So many games shy away from doing something like that. It's just like, just tell me. You don't have to tell me where things are necessarily. Just tell me when I've found everything. Please. I hope you can find yourself again. Okay, well. Let's save here. And start looking at stuff. You pick up the book and try to read its faded words, though your hollow gauntlets struggle to turn the pages. It appears to be an epic romantic novel about a knight. Knightess, rather. Well, I suppose anything is possible in fiction. The pages are filled with lengthy paragraphs of purplish prose that spend too long describing the main character's musings, the scenery, and the main character's musings about the scenery. You feel safe in assuming this hefty volume did not belong to you. You have awoken in a long deserted room. If you can ignore the overturned furniture, broken glass, and fallen chandelier, you would think it would have been a comfortable place. It's spacious with a thick rug, wide walls, a hearth for warmth, and arched windows for light. a solar or sitting room. Solarium. You briefly wonder if you would have had the luxury of spending time here as a knight. Good question. You take another look in the mirror, trying to make out more details on your armor. It's a deep black, though the metal's luster has been lost to time. Delicate engravings cover its plates. Spiraling leaves and gilt florals trace its surface like ivy on a wall. The crest carved into the center of the cuirass resembles a bird. A crow or a raven, you think. Let's go, corvids. It's an intricate piece of craftsmanship. Beautiful, truly. But more importantly, it feels familiar, comforting. Wearing it makes you feel less like a spirit and more like you. Whoever you were. Plate armor is already expensive, you think. Hence, only knights can afford to wear full suits into battle. Armor this ornate could have only belonged to someone of great status or renown. Could that truly be me? If I was so important, why wasn't my spirit laid to rest? No, is it me? Who was I? And why wasn't I laid to rest? Everyone from the loftiest king to the lowliest prisoner must be granted final rights. Whether a grand pyre to burn away mortal regrets, or a single candle crudely carved with a name. Hi, Arba. 1,000 lights or a single flickering flame. Every soul deserves something to guide him across the sunless sea. How you doing today? Either I've received not even the barest courtesy at my death, or the burden on my soul weighed so greatly no flame could hope to lift it. But I remember nothing of who I was. How am I supposed to free myself? Broken windows gape like an open jaw, drawing icy breaths of wind into the wide stone room. Shards of glass litter the floor like a revenant's teeth, buried under soft white mounds of snow.
We pointing and clicking, yep. We pointing and clicking. We doing it.
A winter storm gathers and grows. I also need to sip. I need to make sure I stay hydrated during this, not just for general hydration, but also because
there's gonna be a lot of talking tonight.
Oop, I missed a line. Well, there's plenty more to explore here yet. Okay. I didn't miss. I thought I missed something. I did not. Aha! A painting hangs above the hearth, flaking in age, its ornate frame tarnished with time. It depicts a woman of no less than 20 summers, dressed in a blue gown, her skin porcelain fair and hair fairer still. A raven, its feathers the same stark hue, perches on her arm. She is beautiful. Not even time can steal this fact from the canvas. Only because she is like me, lifeless and ageless. You stare at the painted face, trying to recall the person it belonged to. If she was the mistress here, I must have served as her knight. But her name, like yours, escapes you. A cold stone hearth with only ashes remaining. You try to recall memories of laughter seated before a roaring fire. Shared smiles, warm wine, words of comfort whispered. Hours nestled shoulder to shoulder, huddled against the cold. Nothing. Who would I have shared tender moments with? Sheaves of parchment lie scattered near an ancient wooden table. You carefully pick one up and attempt to read the faded script. My dear Marchioness, my knights and I... Marchioness? Marchioness is how I would say it, but I could be super wrong. The knights and I are most eager to attend the tournament. But my condolences once again for your loss. What a great burden your father has left to a woman as young as yourself. I, of course, would be happy to offer my advice, perhaps in a private setting. ... The letters continue in a similar fashion, mentioning a tournament, the death of the recipient's father, and promises of courtship or counsel. The words choke with flattery and veiled condescension. How patronizing. Each one is addressed to a marchioness. You assume this must be the woman in the portrait. Though her painted face is nothing but serene, you can only imagine her reading them with a sigh of exasperation. You're certainly beginning to feel that way. You set the letter aside without caring where it lands. Alright, let's see what else we can... Oh. Wait, the frost went away, so maybe there's not necessarily anything new. There's nothing else to find, but if I want to click for more info, I can. Your armor stands at an impressive height. You were tall then, and must have been physically fit to don it. What did I look like? Was I rough and imposing, dignified and princely? Oh, I like this. An intimidating face suits me. I like to think I had a friendly face. Would it be vain to wish I was handsome? What I looked like doesn't matter. I'm dead. I'm gonna go with that one. Perhaps you don't wish to be reminded of the life you lost. Perhaps your knight's visor is your face to you now. Whatever the case, you don't linger on your reflection for long. I want to look at the painting again. The barest flicker of familiarity registers as you gaze at the portrait's flaking blue eyes. Perhaps this image isn't true to life? The artist could have painted her younger or fairer than she was in reality. Those who fail to please their patrons have short careers, after all. Yeah, you like the elite knight armor set, extra flowery? Perhaps that's why I don't recognize her, or perhaps I cared that little for my liege. Maybe that's why I don't recognize her. Let's think that we actually cared. You'd like to imagine you were a loyal knight, loyal enough to remember your oath and the person you swore it to. But what happened to her? The canvas yields no answers. I'm gonna save real quick. I kind of want to look at the book again. Mirabelle then looked into the shining ocean-like pools of his azure blue eyes. Oh, how blue they were, and blushed deeply, until her fair cheeks were as red as the blooming rose she held in her palm. Quickly she pinned it to his cuirass, catching a glimpse of herself in its mirror-like surface, and blushed further. If I wasn't a spirit already, I'd die from embarrassment after reading this. Alright, let's move on.
You're not my brother.
Pardon? Who? Was that my lady's voice? You wait, but save for the wind, the castle remains silent. If I keep searching, I should remember more. At least, you hope so. Oh, that takes me back in there. Let's go left first. Oh. Oh, that took me back. Okay, excuse me. I wanted to look at these, but okay. Huh. A pair of doors stand at the end of the hall. They don't budge even when you press the full weight of your armor against them. Locked. And look at this. The thought occurs to you that for all your steel suit ways, you yourself are still a spirit. In the tales you've heard of restless souls, some spirits walk through the world like mist. I wonder. Part of me kind of wants to try to leave my armor, I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna try. You're not sure how to leave your armor, however. After a few moments of deliberation, you decide to simply press your gauntlet to the door and will yourself to float. Before you awoke, there was nothing. No warmth, no life, no touch, no taste, no sound, nor sight, no dreams, no fears. Oh, it made us go backwards. Okay, that doesn't seem like a wise idea. I was drawn to this armor for a reason. I don't like the idea of leaving it after all. No, best not risk it. Yeah, I was going to put us back in a loop. A rusted suit of armor donning a faded blue surcoat surveys the hall. It's impressive, but dated, and doesn't hold a candle to the fine craftsmanship of your own armor.
Hello?
You try to call out, and immediately feel foolish. You don't have a body, so naturally, you have no voice either. What are the chances there's another haunted suit of armor here after all? Proud banners adorn the walls. Each bears a raven with wings unfurled, similar to the one engraved on your armor. This is the symbol of the family I served. Yet you don't feel any sense of pride as you gaze upon them. Almost the opposite.
Uh-oh.
Anything else? Yeah. What's this? Broken glass and piled snow blanket the floor of this hall as well. The shards glint like splintered teeth. You remember tales you've heard before. Tales you've told and tales you've been told. Tales of men who woke from death and grew iron skin and teeth. Iron has always been sacred to spirits, they say. Iron! I suppose that's why I was drawn to my armor and not some other object. But why was I drawn here at all? Ooh. There's a storage room filled with a few empty crates and shelves. Dust coats the surface of old wood and moth-eaten fabric, thick as frost, untouched by the sun. Thin moonlight cobwebs fill every corner and crevice. Against the far wall, you see rickety-laden shelves with blankets, horseshoes, and other writing equipment. You even spy what looks like a tournament bearing a unicorn-shaped crest. Likely the personal symbol of whatever knight this loyal steed once carried. You've seen this crest before, emblazoned on a blue standard fluttering in the field. A satchel with the same crest sits on the top shelf. Let's see what's it got in there. Luckily for you, your armor is tall enough to reach it without straining. You wonder if your suit would hold together if you were to fall. Would you be able to put yourself back together if your arms were no longer attached to you? You carefully lift the satchel, aged leather crinkling at your metallic touch. Your fingered plates graze over the crest. Snow. Flour? Gingerly, you open it. Rather than the equestrian supplies you were expecting, you find an assortment of objects. A broken necklace, torn linen, and numerous letters. Broken, forgotten belongings. A torn piece of embroidered linen. The fabric is very fine. You're afraid to hold it with your gauntlet, lest the metal catch on the threads. It's patterned with flowers, leaves, and vines, motifs common enough in clothing, but rarely on fabric this delicate. Oh, I know what this is. It's a wedding veil, or at least the remnants of one. All that's left of the sorry thing is a scrap of fabric, burnt and stained at one end. The stitches are uneven and filled with gaps, too tight in some places and too loose on others. The bride who made this was not a skilled seamstress, to put it charitably. I feel you. I'm really bad at that kind of thing. With needlework like this, it's a wonder she married at all. So that's the second time you said something rude. I should say we've said something rude. Could I have been married? Was I ever in love? Finding a bride would have been a necessary task for a bride like you, but perhaps you cared more for companionship than dowries or alliances. But if you were, what does it mean that you don't remember who she was? Your supposed partner for life. A simple amber pendant with a broken clasp. It could have belonged to a man or a woman, but given the fine linen it rests on, you find the latter more likely. It twinkles in the dark like a droplet of stolen light. A faded note, a scrawl of handwriting barely visible on the parchment scrap. The ink looks blotted away in places. By water or tears? You decipher it as best you can. I don't want you to hold them back. Take them or throw them away. I don't want to talk. I don't want to see you again. Not after what you've done. Well, that certainly doesn't bode well for its recipient. Letters stowed carefully away. Were these written by somebody you knew? You carefully fish out an envelope. To your frustration, they're too faded to read. It looks like they were damaged or the ink was of poor quality. I wish I could have gotten a name, something, anything. You shouldn't have. Think of it as an early wedding gift. Come on, try it on. I'm a lousy partner if I can't spoil you from time to time, aren't I? That's not true. You're all I could ask for. You deserve it. You deserve so much. Spring. Bright sunlight spills over a bustling town square. The market blooms with colors. Pennants fluttering in the air like butterflies, stalls strung with dried flowers, people filling the streets, tunics and skirts of woad and weld blossoming among the cobblestone. You keep your long hair covered, despite the warm day. Silver strands stand out like a blot of ink on a fresh page. But she stands out anyway. Her loose waves flow down her back, burning red in the sunlight. Uncouth, you knew, for a woman her age, but she never cared what others thought of her. You admired that. You were always a little envious of it. Gingerly, she touches the drop of gold around her neck as if it were the most precious thing in the world. But she stares upward as if the real treasure is held in her eyes.
How romantic.
Wait, I still don't know your name. A gift for someone you once knew. Someone who was close to you, at least for a time. Someone who cared for you. Someone who betrayed you. You deserve so much. And that voice. That familiar voice of somebody who wanted to give her the world but had only the sword on his belt and the armor on his back. And a little more. Just that. Not much, you know. A knight like you. What did I do? It's a wooden rack for holding weapons. A pair of training staves lean against it forlornly. You sweep your gaze over the room. Not a single sword or spear lies in sight. You let your gauntlet fall to your side where a scabbard would hang off your belt if you were carrying one. I can't deny I'd feel safer with a sword. You know what they say about old habits and dying. You've been here for a few moments with this game has its grasp on me. I am entertained. Yeah, it's neat so far. I like the concept. What looks like a hatch lies on one side of the room. Also, like, I haven't really commented on it, but I do like this. Sometimes, a box like this can feel a little over-decorated. It can feel, like, extra minimal, or it can feel overdone. I feel like this suits what this game's going for. What we got going on at this hatch, huh? You try and lift it and meet resistance. Your hollow arms clang in unison with the metallic screeching of the hinges as you strain to open it. It swings open to reveal pitch blackness. Very good. I shouldn't have expected anything else, should I? Yet something in the dark pulls at your memory. Twisting corridors, tunnels melting one into the next. A pursuit. Hunters cornering prey. But was I the one chasing or being pursued? All you know is that some piece to the answers you seek lies down there. Well, hang on. Hang on. Yeah, we probably shouldn't traverse these tunnels unprepared. I need light. It's true. I won't go into the dark. Never. I'll need a way to mark the trail as well. If the tunnels are as twisting as I remember, I don't fancy becoming lost down there. You decide to step away from the hatch for now. Surely the answers you seek will wait for you. Yeah, hopefully. But also, it was just like frosty around the edges, so I didn't want to presume. No longer frosty. Maybe a young girl, but she isn't blind. Can't you see? The North needs someone like you. Who? Wait. I need light. These marks on the door. What in the world left them? This is what I was trying to get you to talk about earlier, my dude. Here's the other way. You spy the remnants of a tapestry clinging to the wall. A knight on horseback charges at a giant thing tied down by chains. Bolts stick out of its back. The lone rider is flanked by knights of different colors bearing shields and spears. Revenants? You said this wouldn't be a scary story. What's this? Are you afraid of a simple tale? Revenants? But they're the size of men, not whatever this is supposed to be. Or they're 3 feet tall if you play Elden Ring Night Rain. No, tapestries often commemorate great events, battles, victories. Perhaps the beast here was a metaphorical one. Surely. Totally, absolutely. I think we're going to find light in this room, and this is a library. Alright, let's go in here first. Ooh, candles. Candles cover the room in every size and shape you could imagine a candle taking. Some are plain, half-melted stubs clinging stubbornly to their prickets, while others are tall and carefully carved with ornaments and flowers. Almost all are engraved with a name. It's a chapel. A place where rites were given and prayers whispered, where all facets of life were celebrated. Births, funerals, weddings. I know this place. I've carved names here. Golden light softly scattered by stained glass. Warm voices, borrowed silks, flowers. For the first time you can remember, the scent of flowers mixes with incense and melting wax. You're not sure what they're called, but they're golden like her eyes. Gold like the thin band you carry, that glints it like a ring of sunlight. It slips over her finger as easily as a promise whispered. It weighs like an oath kept. Your family gains another member today, but not all are present to witness it. Your father is not here to see this joy. Your heart is so light you almost don't notice it. Almost. The warmth is gone, leaving your hollow plates colder than before. As the tender memory ebbs away, a trace of bitterness takes its place. A woman in a veil. Maybe? An ornate candlestick sits on the altar. The candles resting in it are carved almost as beautifully as the spiraling black iron itself. These candles would have been lit as offerings to the spirits, both to guide them to rest and to ask for guidance in return. And now it can indeed guide a spirit, mine, through the cellars. But I need some way to light it. Candles must have been lit here regularly, so there must be some tools in the room I could use. Well, there's a box right here, my dude. It's a pewter box. Inside you find shards of flint, striking iron, and char cloth. Tools for lighting fire. Perfect. Take them. You have no excuse not to enter the cellars now. You take them. You take a moment to admire the fine carving on the candles, to spend so much time carving wax only for it to melt away. The poor soul who carved this must have cared deeply for their departed. But candles are candles, beautifully edged or not. I can take this to light my way through the cellars. You strike the flint until a spark catches, and then light the 3 long candles standing in the candelabra. A soft glow radiance from the tiny flames now bathed in moonlight. For a moment they seem to glow blindingly bright. Promise me you'll take care of your sister. Promise me you'll never fight, that you'll love each other. Spare our daughter, please. I beg of you, she's done no wrong. Those voices. I don't recognize them. That must have been in the past. But why did that feel less like a memory and more like a dream? You toss your helm and gorget? As if you were shaking your head, then take the candlestick. You can sort out riddles later. I'm sure it's going to be... people are cringing at my pronunciation, and I do apologize. There's a bunch of words in here that's been a long time since I've heard them said. And there's a few that I actually have not seen written out before. So I may know what the word is, and it's just not clicking because I've never seen it written. Moonlight filters softly through a stained glass window. You recognize the scene depicted in colored glass. A scene from the Tales of the Mist. It's the hero Tristram, lantern and sword in hand, preparing to slay the revenant that terrorized his people. But the story isn't a happy one. It's a tale of sacrifice and folly. Tristram. Why is that name familiar? Well, the tale was a popular one and the name was common enough when I was alive. But you can't help but feel there's more to it than that. Alright, we got our light. Let's have a peek in here real quick. You carefully take your candlestick and bring it to the tall candelabra, setting each wick alight with flame. That's better. Well, who's this dude? It's a painting of a man with white hair and beard, dressed in fine furs and jewels. There's a clear resemblance between him and the portrait of the woman in the solar. It's probably her dad. His painted eyes stare down at you in stoic contempt. You ungrateful bastard. Who gave you everything you have? Who granted you the honor and privilege of a knighthood when you should be rotting in the streets? Stale liquor, dusty cedar, parchment, and ink. It's a tournament day, but you're not in the spirit for games. You'd retreated here in a foul mood, unaware that he had shirked his duties and done the same. What more do you want, boy? You know what I want, father. I remember him. This man was my father. So is that her sister? The master of the castle was my father. Yet his daughter succeeded him while I became nothing more than a knight. And even that was a privilege he deemed me unworthy of. It sounds like they might have been adopted though? Question mark? Maybe that's why he didn't, he was being a little shit about worthiness. What did I want from him? What did he refuse to give me? What did I want from him? And why wouldn't he give it to me? Even if it was more than what your vassal deserved, even if I was born in shame, I was still your son, wasn't I? Yeah, maybe out of wedlock versus adopted. A faded map lies on the desk. It depicts two territories at its center, divided by a great river. Lithrasir and... did I say that right? Lithrasir and Ostara. Those names I recognize. Ostara, the kingdom across the river. Vengeance, snow. Blood, smoke, screams. Beyond that I don't remember. Lithrasir. The kingdom of silver north and golden south. Sunsets over endless fields, birch forests turning pale gold with the autumn's chill. The white river Asker, gleaming with ice. Pale crests of waves breaking out on the boreal sea. Skyridge Peak scraping a blue frost horizon. A place I defended with my life. What's this? Behind the map you find a note. My lady, you made the right decision. The lion's den is too dangerous for a young girl like you. You can rely on me to handle the peace talks. I'm glad you understand why sending Sir Tristan would be imprudent. A bastard has no place rubbing shoulders with the lords, no matter how well decorated. I'm sure I need not remind you what they call him. The Prince Slayer's presence could only give the wrong impression at a peace summit. Nor do the blood-hungry hounds who side with Heimdall need further encouragement. Please don't worry yourself. Your loyal commander, Sir Prince Slayer. A mere knight dares spill royal blood? Small wonder this Sir Tristan would be shunned even for a veteran. It seems he was no champion of peace, but he had some reason for bloodying his hands. Tristan. You turn the name over in your mind, repeating its rhythm. Tristan. 2 syllables, a backwards heartbeat. Its cadence is familiar, engraved in your memory like the etchings on your armor. He was a bastard like you. He was an outcast like you.
Maybe it is you.
I just do a quick save. I'm thinking about it. A stack of papers sits on the desk. You look through them and find names, figures, and numbers. They're fiscal documents. Little of this looks legible, though. They're stained and faded. On one of the better preserved pages is a roster of knights, listed in order of rank, along with their respective fiefs and incomes.
Your fiefs. Fiefs, foos.
This many knights? What a wealthy master we shared. If tensions with the star were high, however, that makes plenty of sense. One knight, whose name you cannot make out, is listed at the bottom. Whoever he was, he had a far lower earnings than the rest. Shelves of books and records on what looks like a variety of subjects. You walk over and examine the spines until you spot one that bears the same emblem as on your armor. A raven with wings extended like a leaf. Ta-da! Ancestry of the House of Winter. That must be the family name of the Marchioness. Navigating the pages isn't easy with metal fingers, but you manage, flipping through decades, if not centuries, of names, dates, and facts until you land on the most recent entry. Year 228, on the 2nd day of the 2nd month, a daughter is born to Marquess Siegmund and Lady Vivian, and given the name Sieglind.
I like that name.
5 days later, Lady Vivian perishes. Year 246, on the 7th day of the 2nd month, Lord Siegmund perishes after many months of illness. Lady Sieglind is named his successor and bestowed the title of Marchioness. Sieglind von Winter, my sister. So you were 18 years old when our father crossed the sunless sea. If this Marchioness and the one in the painting are the same, then the lady I served was barely more than a child. Siegmund, father. You flip back through the earlier entries. There's no mention of a son. So I was kept around, but my mother and I weren't important enough to be included in the record, even as a footnote. As if they were ashamed I even existed. You close the book with a sinking feeling in your cuirass. I'm gonna look at the painting again, actually. The painted figure of a man stares out from a dusty frame, the previous Marquess and the master of the castle. Wouldn't it be Marquis? Or is that a different title? I thought Marquis and Marquess were like the same level, but it was the gender binary split. The bullshit binary split. Okay, well, that makes the Marchioness your sister, and you, the bastard son, kept to serve the family, never to take its lofty name. Ah, there's a drawer. In the drawers, you find several corked bottles of alcohol, dusty and undisturbed. You wonder if the Marchioness or her predecessor was fond of drink. The top right drawer is locked and will not open. You can't help but feel that the desk in its current state, spilled alcohol, a mess of papers, doesn't look like it belonged to the Marchioness. Unlike the Solar, this place looks largely untouched. A woman wanted to remember her father. What a mess. What a mess. You'd think that a servant would have cleared this away eventually. Ordinarily, I'd say that clinging to the past does one no favors, but something from your past must have brought you back to this place. An empty glass bottle. As you brush a cobweb off it with your gauntlet, a scent, a memory of a scent, wafts over you. Stale liquor, stinging bitterness, honey to mask it. You almost recoil in distaste. I take it I wasn't one for strong drink. Could I use this to hold something and leave a trail with, to leave a trail within the cellars? Yeah, why not? Take the bottle. Yeah, like a powder. You take the bottle and fit it snugly to your belt. Well, what about... Well, the ink's probably all dried up, yeah? Powder, huh? You have not spent years protecting the commoners from Astarian invaders. To them, you are a princess locked in a white tower. I'm well aware of my shortcomings. The only reason you stand where you are is because Sir Tristan is loyal to you, but loyalties can change.
Yeah, that's true. Loyalties can change.
I wonder... What should I try to put in the bottle? Did you not like my gift? It's beautiful, but... You stand in the solar, your arms folded tightly in front of you. Your eyes flit over the suit of polished steel that stands there in solemn silence. A gleaming shadow. You don't know what else to say. It is beautiful, worthy of a prince, and worth a prince's ransom. But it's still only a suit of armor. To an ordinary knight, a gift like this would be the honor of a lifetime. But for the hero of the kingdom, a veteran of the Great Ice War, a man who's given and sacrificed so much? Feeling a little ungrateful? How could a single suit of armor ever be enough? I only wanted... As you look at the ashes left in the hearse, you spy what you think at first is a stray clump of snow, but it flutters away on a sudden gust of wind. A feather? It's gone before you think you can reach for it. Before you think to reach for it. Ash. Not the ideal trail marker, but I have no better options. You do your best to scoop up the ash from the hearth into the glass bottle. It slips through the cracks in your gauntlets and settles deep into the fine etchings on the lames, turning beautiful black steel gray. But you have other things to concern yourself with than being tidy. Finally, once the bottle is filled, you return it to its place on your belt. I hope this works. All right, so let's head on down there. We've got light. The maw of the cellar staircase, indeed. We've got light and we have a trail marker. The light from the candles, faintly flickering, outlines staggered steps swallowed by the darkness below. You stare into the blackness, one gauntlet gripped on your candlestick, the other reaffirming that the bottle on your belt sits snug. I don't like this, but it's now or never. And so you descend. Step by step. Your sabatons cling. Your hauberk rattles against the shell of your cuirass. You grip your candlestick tightly as if it's a shield and a weapon both. The tunnels are wider than you remember. Wider than the oppressive twisting stone you imagined. There's ample room above your helm and around you, so much that your candlelight barely reaches the walls on either side. There's no sound but the ringing of steel against steel as you step, and step onwards. The shaking of your hauberk clink-clank within your hollow cuirass echoes like a heartbeat. Finally, up ahead, you come across a fork in the path.
I'ma save.
Search your memories. What path did you take so many years ago? You were following the lantern light of somebody. Somebody you held onto tightly. Or were they holding on to you? Right. Okay, let's go right. You leave a small pile of ash to mark the turn, then continue into the dark. It's strange how familiar this feels. Not just this place, but this darkness. The darkness. how crushing it is, how alone. Somewhere once I was freezing. I was hurt. I was trying to build a fire, but my fingers were numb. With every shake of your metal heartbeat, you give silent thanks that you no longer feel the cold. The path continues on, stone after stone. Finally, after what could be minutes or hours, you spy another fork in the path.
Such your memories.
Hand over the girl. What did you do, father? Answer me. You can hate me all you wish. A young girl's cries, a night's resolve, voices, one of them yours. Left. Saving a new slut. You make another mark with the ash, then continue down your path. Voices whisper at the edges of your mind, a tangle of threads, faded, frayed. Hi, Tenchi. You can't make out the words, can't reach through the torn veil of your memories. Half of you wants to scream with the lungs you don't have. The other half wants to turn back and run. Steady. If being down here makes me feel this way, I must be getting closer. You can do nothing but continue, so continue you do. As you walk, the candles you carry seem to flicker, then burn brighter than before. You grip the candlestick tightly and continue on at a cautious pace. Step after step.
Hi, Mongo. Thank you for the raid. It's your Mongo raid.
How's everybody doing? This gives me a chance to sip. Everybody stay hydrated. I'm talking a lot. What were you up to this evening? Welcome in, everybody. I'm Marley. We play a lot of horror and horror adjacent games here. Tonight we're playing some visual novel demos. This one's kind of is described as a gothic mystery. The one we're playing after is described as psychological horror. So if you have those sound interesting, you're welcome to hang out. If you need the raid and run, if you need to lurk, I totally understand. Especially you, Mungo. Please do get your D stream on if you is tired. We do end streams for a reason.
Step after step.
Was low spoons today and you started some Turok too? Nice! Nice. I have this, I never played the Turok games, but I have this like weird soft spot for them. I like to watch other people play them. This game is, for everybody who just came in, it's called The Last Winter Night. Night spelled with a K at the front. We are a haunted, we are a spirit inside a suit of armor, an empty suit of armor, clanging around trying to figure out who we were and why we have come back as a ghost. We don't know why we're back. What brought us here? We think we figured out some things about our backstory. We may have been the bastard son of a lord. The person who was in charge here, the Marchioness, may have been our sister. We've discovered some things, but now we're down in the cellar trying to remember the path through this labyrinth to find some answers. Maybe more of a hint as to why we're a restless spirit. Thanks! Finally, up ahead, another turn comes into view. Another fork.
Such your memories.
This time, there's nothing at all. No, wait. You are not my brother. My brother is a hero. He would never hurt me or betray me like this. I'm not a hero. So we have memory, but we don't know which way to go. So let's go left first. You leave more ash to mark your trail, then continue through the tunnels, hoping you picked correctly. You walk for what feels like hours. Your every hollow, clanging step reminds you that you are alone. You are alone. Whispers wrap around you like silk, trapping you in their threads. You are alone. You are not alone. Voices linger. Memory coalesces. Theirs, yours. They flicker and burn. They wither and choke. Ash gives way to cold and dark. The waves of the sea call. The dead do not belong. You jerk violently as hot wax drips onto your gauntlet, making you flinch as if your skin were flesh and not steel. You fumble and nearly drop the candlestick. Steady. Steady. I'm not far from the shores of the sea. There is no shame in fear. I was once alive. I just need to get through this. You continue on more briskly than before, as if to make up lost time. Finally, up ahead, you see something on the ground. A glint in the dark. You doubt your own senses at first. No, something really is there. Carefully, you approach. Candlelight falls on metal caked in dust and decay. The curve of a cuirass, the threads of a molding surcoat, the white of bone. A corpse lies before you. Spirits. Keys! And there's the raven. A medallion in the shape of a raven hangs around the knight's gorget. You note how similar it looks to the one worn by the Marchioness and the Marquess in their portraits. The mark of a high-ranking, no, the highest rank given to a knight. Give me those keys. Keys hang off a ring at the fallen knight's belt. I'll have to take those before I leave. I need them more than he does. Darn tootin'. The corpse of a knight lays against the wall, jaw locked in a soundless cry, socket staring eternally upward. He spent his last moments calling out to, cursing whatever or whoever killed him.
We'll light a candle in respect.
It doesn't feel right to leave him like this, but I don't have any candles to spare. Rest in peace. It seems you have no choice but to leave the dead knight be. You've been down in the cellars a good while. With candlelight waning, you decide to retreat the way you once came. You reach for the keys looped on the knight's belt.
Hi.
That armor. You dare show yourself again, traitor.
Scary.
In another time and place. Castle Winter, Leaf, year 308, winter. Grandmother, I brought you some more milk. Of course you did. You are my heir, Tristram, not a servant. Will you wait until I cross the sunless sea before you act like it? The young man wordlessly sets down the steaming cup and retreats from the room. You almost feel a pang of remorse as you hear the door close behind him with a quiet thud. Old age is making you sentimental. The regrets you thought you tossed aside weigh like piled stones. The boy is almost 30 and on the surface an ideal successor. Level-headed, poised, a seasoned warrior, a skilled diplomat, like you trained him to be. But his heart is fragile and weak. Just like... You sigh and turn towards the painting on the wall. Like him. His portrait has hung on the wall for decades. It was painted from your memories and descriptions. The artist spared no detail, but captured his likeness with a melancholy so true to life it stung you. From far from the heroic figure you wanted him remembered as. You dismissed that artist from your court in disgrace and hung the portrait in the privacy of your chambers, safe from the eyes of the world. And so he has kept watch over you, decade after decade, reminding you of your failures. You find yourself speaking to the dead more than the living these days. You dream of the things you'll ask him, explain to him, beg of him, demand from him. Until we meet again beyond the sunless sea, dear brother. Yeah, I thought we might be the Marchioness right now.
The last winter night. Very cool.
I wonder, it didn't seem like I could take other candles with me, but maybe that is a thing after you've gotten the other candlesticks. Yes, this is very, very cool. End of demo. This is very, very cool. I'm really glad we took the time to check this out. I'm very curious to see how the story unfolds in the full version. Let me give you guys a link really quick, by the way, if you are interested in this game. You're impacted. You touched you on a hard level. So I like the concept of being the ghost in the armor and trying to figure out yourself for better and worse. And it was really interesting how we switched to the Marchioness's POV there right at the end. So if you're interested, there's a Steam link. It's being made by Indices. I could be pronouncing that also incorrectly. Who is on Blue Sky. I'll give you guys that link as well if you guys would like to follow the dev on Blue Sky. There we go. Very cool. I like, you know, I'm not always one for this kind of mellow, kind of just stays in the background piano, but it works for this. I'm interested to see if the soundtrack switches it up at any point, if there's any moments, like, it seems like it really suits the tone. You know, I don't know if there's like going to be any other moments in the game where something different, a different feeling is going to come in with the music, but yeah. Very cool.
Music, art, story, GUI, programming, and sound design by Indices. This guy right here. This poison.
Armor and Arms Consultant, additional Foley, let's go. Lone Pond's Armory. Got some play testing, let's go QA. Thank you to Calamancer.
Yeah, wishlist on Steam. They have a newsletter too.